Okay, people, today let's take a quick look at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Snake Eyes and Polar Bear. Oh, and it's two of my favorite things when it comes to G.I. Joe Classified Series. Some original cartoon silliness and an animal action figure. Now, as always, it's not straight up cartooniness. There is the classified filter where they update some things. They make a few tweaks to make it slightly more realistic, but overall, there is still that fun factor. I mean, come on, Snake Eyes comes with some radioactive hands, where in the cartoon, he was completely glowing and was healed with herbs and leaves, absorbing the radiation, and then the blind hermit just picks it up and throws it in the fire. Oh, that's taken care of. But then there's this bear. Looking at the package, it's what we're used to with G.I. Joe Classified Series. There's that carbon fiber kind of look to the background. There's your name. There's your logo. This is part of the Mass Device series. This is the only piece I've gotten so far. I wasn't interested in the other packs or the other characters that came with pieces, although I can't remember who come with the last. One of them was a double diver set, and that was okay, but I just want the Mass Device piece. Maybe I'll backtrack, or maybe I should have checked the availability of that before getting on here. Research is not my strong suit. All right, future Robo jumping back in here. The review is long done. I was in the middle of edits even, and I had run to Target and found Breaker, who I'd forgotten came with one of the other Mass Device pieces. So 2 down. 1 to go, and I don't really want the divers, so we'll see. Maybe I'll eBay it. Maybe I'll track one down. I don't know. Back to the review. Window showing us most of what this comes with, and then of course, warning, choking hazard, small parts. Don't put the big bear in your mouth. That's all I got. Or don't put the radioactive snake eyes down your throat hole. There you go. That's better warning. On the side, there's artwork of Snake Eyes and the bear, and then it's been so long since I've went and looked at these, but that's the kind of bio thing for Snake Eyes or the bear, one or the other. 161 in the series. Are we already that far along? I guess it has been 5 years. On the back, an action shot of the 2 characters where Snake Eyes is just saying, "Stop!" and the bear's kind of, "Oh, okay." Some of the extras that come with the set down here. I'd better look at those icons that you go on the site to look up. On the other side, that same artwork in color. On the top, there is the G.I. Joe star. There is 161 again on bottom. More legalese. There's your barcode. Let's get this open and see what's going on here. Ooh, that had some heft to it, didn't it? Oh. We're going to start with Snake Eyes because basically it's just a repaint of the retro carded Snake Eyes. So at the end of the day, no, I'm just kidding. Despite that, it does work with the new colors and everything for the most part. Like I said, Classified Series is essentially updating old designs or modernizing some things. That retro card Snake Eyes is supposed to evoke the original release from back in the day. All black, with a little bit of color to the straps, or the things on the straps right here, and then gloss black for the goggles. This new release is all cartoon. Have blue bodysuit from head to top of the boots, and to the cuffs on the sleeves, because the hands do something weird when it comes to Snake Eyes. We'll get to that. There's the black web gear, the black cuffs, the black collar, the black holsters and sheath with straps going around the legs, and black boots. Then there's a little purple thrown in. These pouches on the front of these straps, and here on the outside of the biceps. And that's where I run into kind of a gripe, just speaking for myself personally. When I think back to the cartoon, sometimes he had full-on straps with pouches sticking out, and I would have loved to seen that here, just to throw it off from what we've gotten before. You know? It would have also been amazing to get a new head with goggles that were more like that cartoon appearance. These feel more realistic. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this metallic purple that's in here, tying to those other colors, kinda. And then the breathing holes and a little bit of detail over the top. But man, to go full cartoon, that would have been up my alley. And while I'm nitpicking, it also would have been cool to get some smooth pants. Now, again, it's Classified Series. They're updating things, a modern aesthetic. So having texture there and seam lines and everything, that's awesome. I love extra detail. But then on the shirt part, the torso, the sleeves, it's smoother. I totally love it here, but again, going for that cartoon aesthetic. But again, I also have to adjust my brain to classified series. So I'm just pointing out things that I would have liked to seen. Not that I'm actually griping, because this is awesome. But then we get to the pink hands, and I love these things. I don't know, there's that cartoon silliness creeping in. There he was fully glowing, and in order to do that in action figure form, you would have had to have a pink figure, because it's hard to represent a glow to, oh, maybe the glow in the dark type. So, in fact, the pink hands glow in the dark. You have to supercharge them, leave them in the light for a while, and it fades fairly fast. It being pink, it doesn't glow that bright, but hey, you can't argue that they don't glow. Anyway, it was easier just to do hands, because when he wasn't full of radiation, he had bare hands, which is something we don't see with a lot of Snake Eyes. He's usually fully covered, which makes me even more excited for this, because when we get to accessories, we'll see the skin tone hands, and I'll talk about it more there. It's a custom I've been planning since the beginning, and then Hasbro just gave it to me. Would I like something? Ooh, an animation retro card series down the road where they go full on animation. But until then, this will do just fine. I know we've seen this several times before, but articulation scheme, there is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck with a slight movement down at the bottom on a ball. Up, there is a little down. Not bad tilt. Butterfly joint goes forward, goes back, pin out to the shoulder, rotates all the way around with a hinge that goes up to there, swivel at the bicep, and it is the straight cut. I think we saw this with Stalker first, and it wasn't the most popular. I think they've done away with it by now. So the body is a little outdated on top of that. But at the same time, it's still super, because you have double elbows, pinless, that modern look. It comes all the way up, swivel at the wrist with a hinge, up and down for an irradiated weapon wielding hand. Crunchticulars, forward, back. Ball joint at the waist for a bit more forward movement, some back, a little tilt, rotation. Drop down at the hip with the ball going into the leg, kicks that high, and then back, and then out. Better than a lot of Spider-Mans. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee. Oh, easy. Swivel at the boot. Hinge at the ankle, goes back, goes forward, front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, we are finally at that point talking about the hands. There are 2 trigger finger pink hands, there are 2 pink fists, and there are 2 pink flat palm chopping hands. And yeah, those glow too. They seem more red in the dark, but either pink, red, it doesn't matter. It's still cool. And those are easy enough to just pop out and put others in. But then there are 2 flesh tone trigger finger hands, and I'm gonna put these on, and I know it is cartoon accurate, and I went on and on about having cartoon accuracy, but man, it is hard to get my brain to come around to Snake Eyes with some exposed flesh on them. Even if it's something I've been wanting for a long time, here it is, finally. And yeah, I would display it like this in a heartbeat, but I'm also really coming around to the hot pink hands. It just adds a splash of color to it. Now, it's more color than your standard Snake Eyes with the blues and the purples, but these are so cool. Big Dumb Fun, or well, I guess Little Dumb Fun, their hands. Yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time deciding how to display it, because this looks awesome too. Snake Eyes, of course, needs weapons. There is a pistol with some silver paint up on top. Easy enough to do some pushing and some twisting if I can get the trigger finger to line up with the hole. Boom. But there's also the holster on the hip. It is smashed in a bit, and it makes it really tight, but hey, I'm not going to complain about it not falling out. Same situation with the knife. Cast in black, silver paint to the blade. He can either hold it, or you can put it in this knife sheath. I don't think this sheath is made for this knife, but once you get it in there, you can't hardly tell. There's also this rifle, which I feel like is very cartoon based. It's more of a laser shooter, I think. Again, some nice silver paint just to break it up a bit, add some flavor. Bit hard to shoulder because of the stuff on the strap sticking out, but can get down to a shooting from under. Or should I say, pew, 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 pew. There's also the canister he carries through the tundra when fighting the bear and getting saved by the blind hermit, who we also need to complete this set. Base plastic, there's some silver, there's some pink, some nice sculpted detail. That has a faint glow that I cannot pick up on camera. Maybe it's the difference between glow-in-the-dark plastic and glow-in-the-dark paint. But then there's also the radioactive element in a canister with that same kind of gray plastic at the bottom. And you guessed it, that glows too, and brighter than the paint on the canister. And as I'm filming this, it seems, yeah, is it fading? Oh, goodbye radioactivity. It must be the herbs and leaves and such. I thought at first this slid into or something, but I think this is just the mass device plug-in, and this is for transporting. Then there's this spring trap, I think it is, with the jaws and this chain coming out the back. That is just a sculpted piece. There's a ring, and then there's a ball joint right here to give you some movement if you want to side to side it a bit, or up, down, twist it around. This is a solid piece running through the middle with the trigger, the part you step on, but the jaws are articulated. You can shut those. And that works wonderfully with timber. Now you do want to watch how tight you close this up on the leg, because if you push too hard, you may pop the joint out. It's just a pin piece that, well, this jaw is on the outside of the peg holes. This one's on the inside. It's a simple matter of just lining it back up, putting it back in, popping it back together. Good to go. Now get back in there, timber. For the bear, there is a bit of assembly required. In the package, the hind legs are packed separately, so you just have to take them and pop them on. And that was no heat. I didn't hit it with a hairdryer, nothing. So pops right on. Very secure after that. As much as I love the cartoon-inspired Snake Eyes, I think this is the star of the set. Oh man, it's just a big old bear. A big old bear with some battle damage to his face. Now, on this side, yep, there's a polar bear. It has just the eye and the nose and the mouth with some teeth sticking out and a tongue. Oh no, that eye's red, isn't it? Even angrier bear. And then on this side, you have some scrapes, some slashes that got him in the eye, so it's blued out. Have the longer neck sloping down a bit. Well, it depends on where you put it. We get to articulation, you can see that you can get it up a little bit more, but man, it just feels menacing like that. Onto the back, the body, have some longer hair up underneath, have some hair on the, I'm gonna say hair a lot, some fur, some longer fur, some hair sculpt. Some thicker legs running down, again with some hair flowing to the back a little, get down to the paws. There are some claws painted black on the front, and then the pads underneath are also painted. Some nice detail. Well, okay, it's white fur, black on bottom, but each individual one is painted, so I can appreciate that. There's also a little shading to it, kind of. There's some darker, I don't know if it's a wash or what, but kind of inside the fur running on the belly, and then down the spine you could see almost like just an overspray of psh. But then there is a stripe of dry brush white just running down the middle, I guess to tone the shadow down or bring the color back up on the very peak of the body. It's a very simplistic paint job, but it seems to work. It's really just sprucing up the shorter hair on top, and then the longer hair sculpt under does the work there. Well, I guess it's the same here on the sides of the head too, this longer hair. There's a shadow effect, a darker color, and then white or bright white dry brushed on top. I'm so used to articulated tails that this throws me off that the tail is sculpted down here, but it's so short and that works. I do have a little messiness here. Like, I don't know where this dark color came from, but it seems to be the only spot where that pops up besides the black paint where it's supposed to be. This just seems like a miscellaneous, erroneous stripe, or not even a stripe, just a kind of a somebody with a paint. Oh, oops. Oh well, let's send that one to Robo. Now you know me, I am not a bear expert, so I don't know if this is 100% accurate to a real world polar bear, but in my mind's eye of the cartoon, this works just fine. It's perfectly fine. Except for maybe in size, and I'm not gonna get into all the exact sizes and comparisons just yet, but I wanted to throw this out there that it seems a bit small next to the Snake Eyes that's included in this set. Only because in the cartoon I remember it being like huge, like up to here, and actually, let's do that real quick. Because of the articulation, you can bring the legs down, kind of spread them apart, get the paws flat on the ground, bring the front legs down, and then there is a trench for the articulation here and at the head. So you can kick this forward and this down. So you get kind of a standing position. Well, if you try to put the front legs all the way down, they gap up really bad. It looks like he's about to do a dancing number. So we're gonna kind of keep those forward, or well, in kind of attack position, maybe. Not the easiest to stand straight up and down because of the weight, the belly sticking out. And I guess that does make it more intimidating next to Snake Eyes. So yeah, it should probably be bigger, but I'm also okay with this. And again, with this pose, I don't know what I did here. Oh, heavens, don't shoot me. Don't worry, we'll get to accessories and it'll be a lot more fierce. But first we'll do articulation. Again, I showed the trench at the top of the neck and then at the base. Between those 2 points, you can go up this much and then down this much, which can also put it in a looking around pose. The top of the neck is a, oh, did I get that twisted around? There is a kick to the stick that probably helps it look up more. I had it turned like this. I think it's supposed to be like that, so it'll go around that. But if you come down, if you turn the stick around, you may get a bit more movement. I'm gonna try to hold it in the same spot. There is looking kind of like this. Pop it off. Turn it around. Now it's looking more forward, so keep that in mind. I'll probably leave it like that because I'd have it standing up more than like this. I don't need it looking up more. I need it looking forward more. That allows rotation at the top of the neck along with some side to side. Then at the base, there is a slight bit of side to side, not much. It's mostly meant to go up and down. The front legs are on ball joints that can rotate back and forward and out about that far and in while rotating all the way around. Below that is a hinge and swivel that goes forward this much, back this much, twists in and out. Same thing at the ankle or whatever bear anatomy is. Goes forward this much, down this much, and then rotates. Then there's also a toe joint that goes up to there. Same thing at the back legs. There's a ball joint sticking out, not near as much rotation, but can rotate back to there and forward about to there. Below that's another hinge and swivel. Goes forward, whoa, this much, and then back this much along with rotation. And then at that ankle, there is a hinge that goes back that far, forward that far, front facing pin for rocker, and no toe joint. I think because you're standing this big body up on these hind legs. They didn't want an extra point, but there is a slight curve to it that makes it slightly difficult. You can see it goes to here and then it kicks forward and it has the paw sculpt on bottom. Like I mentioned, you can make it a bit more fierce. Pop that head off and you can pop the other head on that has the wide open mouth. Just look at the teeth painted back in there and the top teeth and the red and the tongue. Oh yeah, this one's angry. And that changes the look altogether when you have it up in standing position and the paws out. It's more trying to maul you. Then there's also this removable piece, and you've probably noticed it as we go, because on this side it's just flat. Well, it has the fur sculpt, and it's not like this sticks out at you. You can just see that there is something going on. You pop that off and you can either have it as some muscle showing through with kind of a gruesome look to it, or you can replace it with this other piece that has a couple of arrows sticking out of it, just for that reason to be angry. That looks great. Options are good. That looks great. That's another option. Or you can just have a bear. Hey, it works. Size-wise, Snake Eyes is your standard G.I. Joe 6 1/4 inches tall. And then the bear is about 4 3/8 to its highest point when it's on all fours in standard position. If you take the neck and put it up, you can get it up to about 5 1/16. From nose to tail, it's about 8 3/8. And then fully standing up, it is about 9 1/4. So of course Snake Eyes looks great with other Joes. That was never in question. And the same goes for the bear next to other Joe animals, which should be a sub-series all to itself. I say it all the time, this line kicks ass when it comes to the creature types. They give them the love and care that they deserve. The articulation, the sculpt, they just look great. And I may end up with another set of these because I want to display Snake Eyes with flesh hands and pink hands. Plus, I can use an extra bear as a snowbird form over on my Marvel Legends shelf. Have the snow serpents creeping around. I just realized why they didn't articulate the tail, because in this position, you'd have bear dick pics all the time. But here it is next to the Hasbro Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Zimnu and Wendigo. I replaced the Marvel Legends Ursa Major head with a grizzly a long time ago, so here is that. And then the Hasbro Dungeons & Dragons Owlbear. My Ursa Major is the Memory Toys Warbear, and then here is the Fresh Monkey Fiction Arlen Pelletier Collection Naughty or Nice Barbarian Santa. I can't remember what this one's called, but he has a white bear pelt up on top, so I thought it appropriate. You know, as appropriate as a skinned bear next to a bear action figure can be. So at the end of the day, this is just another great example of the Hasbro G.I. Joe team doing what they do best, and that's making G.I. Joe action figures. Sure, the body's a little outdated, but it works for a cartoon that is a bit outdated at this point. But I'd still like an updated version, especially one that follows even closer to the cartoon design. Smooth some things out, add a couple of bands here and there, brighter colors, boom. And I've said what I need to say about the polar bear. Yes, I can nitpick it a little bit, but overall, it's a polar bear in action figure form. What more could I ask for? Well, I guess I could ask for it to be bigger like we saw in the cartoon, but it's a 2-pack, it comes with Snake Eyes. It feels adequate. It feels appropriate. But down the road, I'd like to see something like we're seeing in Marvel Legends, where they're just opening up a window to sell larger items for a short time, and then they make it, then they ship it to you. That would be amazing for a larger polar bear, or some of the other creatures. Well, I guess we saw that with the snake armor, didn't we? So G.I. Joe was already ahead of the curve. For the most part, I couldn't be happier. This is a Snake Eyes I've been wanting for a bit in this color scheme. Yes, again, it's not perfectly cartoon, but it's a realistic version of what we saw in the cartoon, and that's really what Classified is. They've found a nice mix of that. Plus, they're offering several versions of the same look and or character, so hopefully everybody can find something to like in this line. And if you don't, there's more toys out there. Bye!